Before I pass it over, my name is Jana Lass. I'm the VP of Marketing here at Zeit, and our presentation today is going to be Getting Started with Zeit, presented by our very own product marketing manager and head of our community development efforts here, Sandra Krinke. So I will go ahead and pass it over to Sandra to get this started.
Awesome. Thank you, Jana. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. As Jana mentioned, webinar is Getting Started with Zeit, basic tips and tricks. Awesome to have so many of you from all over the world. I'm actually located in Minnesota. Most people know Minnesota as the land of 10,000 lakes. However, for us locals, we like to call it, especially during the summer, the land of 10,000 mosquitoes. So just a little insider there on who I am and where I'm located. I'm super thrilled to have everybody here today as we explore Zeit and all of the powerful features to really help you become a better communicator and collaborator. So today I'm actually going to explore some of our key features that are going to help you get started using Zeit. We're going to cover screen recording, screenshots, and GIFs, and talk about how to record, capture, edit, and share. As Jenna mentioned, we're also going to have some time at the end for Q&A, but please do feel free to ask questions as we move along if anything comes up during the webinar. Also wanted to talk about, we do have a lot of use cases for our product, right? That are really going to help you be that better communicator and create that happier and more productive workplace. So whether you're a team leader, for example, looking to share async updates with your globally distributed team, or maybe you're a customer success manager who has confidential or sensitive information to share, or you're a marketer like myself who is striving to really convey those complex ideas visually, Zeit is an awesome solution to really help you solve for these problems. And before we get going, I really wanted to take a moment for those of you who maybe aren't as familiar with Zeit and kind of fill you in on who Zeit is. So Zeit is an all-in-one unified application. Our users use it for easily, like I said, creating and sharing screen recordings, screenshots, GIFs, and really so much more. You might have heard the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So imagine what you can say with a screenshot, a video, or a GIF. Our product really helps people enhance their communication with visual content while saving them time, eliminating multiple back and forth emails. I'm sure you can all relate to a time or two, or even 10, where you spent minutes or hours going back and forth on an email with somebody and getting just incredibly frustrated. There is a misunderstanding, a miscommunication, and now you've wasted a lot of time and productivity. Zeit really helps improve that team alignment and understanding. And another quick thing I wanted to point out is Zeit is available on the Mac computer for Windows PC as well as Chrome. So for today's example, I'm actually going to be using our Mac desktop client. However, if you are a Windows user or prefer to use our Chrome extension, you can go to our website at Zight.com and check out how to use it there. Any questions before we get going? All right, perfect. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off with how to create a screen recording. And let's first of all talk about why would you want to create a screen recording? How is this going to be beneficial to you and your team to be better communicators? So like I said in the leadership example, you might have a globally dispersed team and you need to send a quarterly update. Well, instead of scheduling a meeting where it might be 10 a.m. your time, it might be 10 p.m. on the other side of the world. So scheduling a meeting is not going to be convenient at all. So instead, you might want to record an async video for your team. This is going to really allow all of your team members to preview that video when it's convenient for them. So let's see our product in action. So as I mentioned, I am going to be using Zeit for the desktop. So I simply clicked on that little Zeit icon up on the top of my screen here. And then just as a quick reference, you can see I've got some different options here for record, to do screen recording, capture for screenshots. I've got my GIF option, annotate, and I have these preset because these are some of the features that I most frequently use. However, if you go into the more section, you can drag and move those around based on whatever your preferences are. And then one other quick thing to note here on the top right-hand side of my application, I can go into preferences. For those of you who love shortcuts, you'll appreciate that Zeit has options to create customized shortcuts for a lot of our different actions. So go ahead and play around with that and customize to whatever you prefer for your shortcuts. Okay, so let's talk about how to record your screen. So first of all, you're going to go ahead and click on record. As you can see, I have a couple of options here. With full screen, I have the option to record my screen only. This option is really great if you really want your audience to focus only on your content that you're reviewing and not worry about having your webcam on, or perhaps you were just having a really bad hair day. Then you might want to use screen and cam here, especially if you're presenting a leadership update. It's a really great opportunity for you to get in front of your audience, your team members, and really drive that engagement, add that little piece of human and interpersonal touch so they can relate to you. And then lastly, we have this cam only option. This is really awesome if you don't have any content to present, but maybe you just want to share some information or give a leadership update. You can go directly on camera and speak to your audience that way. And then we have select region. I really love this option. This is probably one of my favorite selections within our screen recording feature because it allows you to only select the part of your screen that's important for you to record. So for example, I imagine a lot of you have 10, 20, or 30 different window applications or browsers open on your windows, or perhaps you've got a whole bunch of apps on the bottom of your screen. You don't want your audience to be distracted by all of that, right? If you want them to pay attention to your video, have that like human interaction with your face as you're talking through it and navigating, by selecting a region, you can carve out all of those distracting sections so you're only focusing on your content at hand. A couple other of really quick little tips before we get into the recording itself. I always make sure to double check a couple of things. My recording format, which is on video, not GIF, because we're not doing a GIF. And then I always double check my audio and mic. Some of you might be a little bit fancier and have other audio inputs, such as a microphone. I always double check and make sure that not only is the appropriate audio selected, but that the mic is also turned on. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do full screen. And then I'm going to record my screen and cam because I'm doing this leadership update. I want to be able to relate to my audience and have them feel as if I'm talking directly to them. Hopefully you all saw that 3, 2, 1 countdown. Really love this option because it gives you a chance as a presenter to take a deep breath as you get ready to present. Then if I can draw your attention to the very top of my screen here, from left to right, you can see that I've got a timer, so I know exactly how much time my video is taking. Perhaps you're trying to just get a quick 2.5 minute business update recorded, so you can kind of pay attention to how much time your video is taking to record. Another great option as I scroll down here and talk to my video is perhaps I want to draw a little bit of attention to certain elements of my video. We have this awesome annotation tool, so you can actually annotate directly in your video. How cool is that? So maybe I'm talking about this section here and I want to make sure that my audience is paying attention and I can highlight exactly what I'm speaking to. I can also go back in and maybe I want to draw an arrow to draw attention to this point here. This is a really great way to draw in your audience with some of that interactivity within your video. Once you're finished with the annotations, I also want to point out that you do have a pause option. So if you need to pause, take a breath, maybe you lost your train of thought, go ahead and hit pause. And once you're ready to jump right back in, go ahead and click on resume. Before I close out of here, you can also click on that X button. What that will do is it will delete your video altogether as if the video never existed, and you can go ahead and start over. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to click on resume to finish up the video. And then once I'm done, you'll see this red circle up here in the top corner. You simply click on that. And within a quick 1 or 2 seconds, Zeit, as I say, automatically uploads your video to the cloud. And now we're actually on our web application here. Perfect. So now that we're in our web application, our video or screen recording is ready to share. However, I've got a few recommendations for really enhancing your video and a couple of things that you can do when you share it. So first of all, even though we were annotating throughout the video, I want to take the opportunity to show you how you can use one of our latest features, video editing. Video editing is amazing. It's been kind of a game changer for me. So I'm going to start off with trim here. So let's say you were 80% done with your video and your dog started barking and you're like, oh my gosh, I just recorded 5 minutes of a video. Do I really have to start over? No, you don't. You can simply play your video until that dog barking starts and simply click on split. And then you can click and drag until that noisy distraction goes away and you're good to go. You're really saving time. You don't have to start over. And it's just a really great way to be even more efficient within our application. I also really love the crop button. So I mentioned earlier that when you open up our screen recording options, you have the ability to either record full screen or select just a portion of your screen. Well, let's say I didn't mean to record my whole screen. I can actually go in and I can crop that out and remove all of those busy distractions. So now my audience can only focus on the important part of my video. This is a pretty cool option. And then just a quick way to show you rotate and scale. Those are kind of some neat little features as well. If you really want to draw in your video to a specific section and kind of draw attention to that area. You can also rotate your video if you need to. Certainly not something I need to do for this example, but it is an option, just so you know. And I can also hit the undo or redo button. This is super handy if you make a mistake, just to know you don't have to start all over again. Want to add a little color to your video? We've got you covered there too. Color it up with some chrome, some sepia, some blues. Or maybe you need to fine tune your video. Lots of options here. I really love the clarity. I think oftentimes when we're creating videos or content, sometimes the clarity of it can get a little bit blurred. So if you simply move your needle over just a little bit more, you can really enhance that clarity of your video. Once your video is exactly how you want it, you can go ahead and click on done. And once again, it's automatically uploading to the cloud with Zeit. And as this is uploading with all of my changes, let's talk about how to go about sharing your video and protecting it. So under our share settings, we have some advanced options that are available to our pro, team, and enterprise users. So as you can see here, I can change some of these settings. So for example, if I'm sharing a leadership update and maybe I've got some confidential information, I want to ensure that only people in my organization are previewing my video. Or maybe I want to track it and make sure that everyone who's previewing it is giving an email address. You can go ahead and customize those all in the share settings. And then lastly, you can decide, when does the link expire? Maybe it never expires. Maybe it expires in 3 months, or perhaps it expires after 200 views. You can go ahead and change that in there. And then we're just going to save those share settings. Another feature that I really love is adding my videos and other pieces of content to a collection. So collections are a really great way to organize your content. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in ABC Company Quarterly Updates. That way going forward, I can save all of my quarterly updates for 2023 directly in this folder. This is also really handy if you have, let's say, a new associate who starts in a couple of weeks, missed the email for the original video. Now you can go in and simply share this video out. So now that I have the collection created, I'm going to go ahead and click on that button. This ensures that my screen recording gets saved directly into this collection. And now I'm done. And then if I can draw your attention over to the top left of my screen here where it says screen recording with a date and a time, I don't want that there anymore. I want to actually be able to name my screen recording. So again, we can give this a name. We'll call it, Q2 2023 update. Perfect. And maybe I'm really excited about this update, so I want to save it to my favorites so I can always reference back to it because we had some really exciting things happen in the organization that were talked about. And now we're ready to share our content. So a lot of great options for sharing content with Zeit. If you're sending it just to a single person or maybe a few people and you don't mind spending a little time typing an email, you can do that right here. You can also click on this little copy button over here and paste it into your preferred messaging channel. Or if it's something you want to share on social media or via an email, you can do that in here. So for this example, I'm actually going to show you how easy it is to drag and drop your video into an email. So I've got the Zeit desktop application open here. I'm simply going to click on my content and drag and drop it. Then I can simply type in the names of my recipients, add a subject line and a message if I need to include a message with my video, and off it goes. Pretty simple and easy. I'm going to hit pause for a moment because I know that was a lot to uncover with screen recording, but do we have any questions before we move on to the next section?
We do have one question and it says, are you able to inline link content in emails as well?
Okay, I'm sorry. Are you able to inline link
Content in emails as well, add a hyperlink?
Yes, absolutely you can. Yep. And why don't we go back and show you what that looks like. So I've got my link copied to my clipboard, so I can also go over here and just do a command paste with that hyperlink. All right, perfect. Well, if there's no other questions at this moment, we're going to move into our next section of how to create and annotate a screenshot. So most of you have probably created a screenshot, a screen snip, a screen grab, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of names for it. This is a really great visual aid for screen capturing, right? Many studies have actually shown that visuals help the human brain comprehend and store information more effectively. So think about it. Would you rather see a screenshot or a bunch of words on a screen that are typed out and you can't really make any sense out of it? And it just leaves you like uber confused. And then we're going back to that whole back and forth email miscommunication conundrum. So let's talk about how to be more efficient with screen captures. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and go into my Zeit desktop application and click on capture. So once again, I have a couple of different options to capture the information effectively. I can either capture my entire screen by simply clicking once anywhere on my screen, and that's going to capture everything you're looking at right here. I can also drag to a selected area, and much like the screen recording option, this is going to allow you to only select the portion of the screen that's most important to you to share with your content. You can also hit escape to cancel out of here if you didn't mean to go into that. I'm just going to quickly, yep. All right, so I am going to go ahead and use the select area. So I'm on Zight's website and I'm going to go ahead and drag and select that piece of content. And as you can see, uploads directly into the cloud and opens up in our Zeit application on the web. So exactly like the screen recording option, you have those same sharing capabilities. You have those same sharing and privacy settings. And you can also add your piece of content to a collection. But what I want to show you next is our awesome annotation tool. Annotations are really going to give you the opportunity to add that context and clarity to your communication when sending a screen capture. So for example, you might want to draw an arrow. Maybe you want to change the color of it. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to go ahead and just draw my arrow right up here. Now this doesn't tell me anything just yet, so why don't we go ahead and add some text to that? And we're going to say change to enhance productivity. Another good idea might be to just change the color of that font just so it pops a little bit more. And maybe I want to make it just a little bit smaller because it was too big the first time around. You can also use things like an ellipse or a rectangle to really draw extra added attention to a specific area of your content. Now let's talk crop. So you saw crop in action with our screen recording. Our screen capture also has that capability of cropping. So if I didn't need all of this information, let's say at the top of my screen capture, I can simply crop that out. So my audience is only focusing on the area of my content that I need to have changed. And just like screen recording, I can simply undo that function as well. And then over here, we have redact. Redact is an amazing solution if you have sensitive information that you don't want shared out. And it also saves you the time and hassle of having to recapture a screenshot if you forgot to crop that out the first time. So let's say this whole top section here, I want to redact that because it's got sensitive company information, and it's important for me that that information is not shared out with my audience. And then we also have some fun little stickers to add a little bit of emotion or just fun to your screen captures. Maybe you want to say, I love this, really great job on adding that. You're on fire with your content here. So lots of great options with screen capture to really add that context and clarity so your team has complete understanding and alignment on what the expectation is. I'm going to undo a few of these. And once you're finished, just like screen recording, you can go ahead and click save, and Zeit will automatically upload all of those changes directly back to the web application. All right, so once you're done with that, again, you can share that out by simply copying on this copy link over here, or clicking on share and typing in that email address, or sharing out via other message channels. All right, any questions so far before we move into our last section of creating GIFs?
No questions here.
Great. Okay, so we're going to learn how to create captivating GIFs, or is it GIFs? Whatever your preference is, we're going to learn how to create them and why you should create them. So GIFs, as you know, are a very highly visible solution. They're a way that you can share videos very quickly. It doesn't take up a lot of time or a lot of space. They're very easy to consume while still getting your message across. And because it's a shorter video, it's also going to be more memorable. And with that, we're going to go back over to Zeit and open up my desktop application. Again, just a reminder, you can always use your shortcut for GIF. I'm just going into the desktop application, but as you can see, I've got a shortcut set up for GIF if I wanted to use that instead. All right, so once I click on GIF, I now have similar options to screen recording. I can record my full screen with just my screen. I can include my cam to add that human touch and kind of interpersonal connection, or just do my camera only. And then we also have select region with screen only and screen and cam. So I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to do full screen, screen only. And I can ensure that my GIF is selected because this is the type of recording format that I want to record. So let's talk about GIFs as I'm recording here. At the very top of my screen, once again, GIFs actually do a countdown from 60 seconds. So with our Pro and our Teams and Enterprise plans, you'll have 60 seconds to record your GIF. With our free plan, you have 15 seconds to record it. You've also got this awesome annotation tool. So while you're recording your GIF, once again, you may want to draw attention to specific elements as you're talking about it. You might be saying, hey, I want this guy changed out to something else. Or as you're scrolling down, let me close out of my edit function first. You might want to say, okay, I love this section, but let's improve this area here, and so on and so forth. Just always remember, if you don't need to edit anymore, to come back up here and click on that edit button. As I can see, I've got about 7 seconds left, so my GIF is about to end, but I'm just going to go ahead and click on that stop button and watch it upload. So as an example, I was talking about how marketers might want to use Zeit or even a GIF to communicate with their team. This is a really great solution when you've got really complex information that are just going to take up a lot of text and you don't have time or don't want to deal with those misunderstandings that can be caused by back and forth emails and trying to get clarity on what you're trying to tell or what you're trying to show rather. So GIFs are just a really great solution to do that quick video, 60 seconds. Here's what I need from you. Share it with your team. And in this example, speaking of sharing, I'm going to show you how to share directly to Slack. I'm guessing a lot of you are Slack users out there. Our company uses it every day, and I absolutely love it, especially when we're using Zight for sharing content. So I've got my Zeit channel open here, and I want to share this update with my team so they're aware of some changes that I need made to our web page. So I simply go into my Zeit desktop app, I click and drag it in here. And I might say here because I want to notify the entire team. Please see latest updates. And then I'm going to hit send. As you can see, that video already unfurled. So just that visual alone is really going to help add that extra element to the communication. And another little quick kind of aha that I love about Zeit when someone previews my content is I get a notification directly in Slack. For me, that's kind of gratifying because I know that my content's been previewed and that someone's going to take action on it.
We've got a quick question here, Sandra. The question is, when would you suggest using videos versus when would you suggest using GIFs?
Yep, so really good question. And I kind of go back to GIFs are a really great way to share short pieces of information that you don't need to take a lot of time. For example, I've already used the marketing one, but maybe if I'm an engineer and I have a bug report that I want to submit and I only need a quick like 30 or 45 seconds, a GIF is just a really great way to share that information, not take up a lot of space. And I might just be in Jira, open up Zeit, record my GIF and send it off. And I also like the video replay of it because if I didn't quite catch something the first time, I don't have to hit replay. I can just watch it again. And I've got a really great understanding of what's expected of me.
Great, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. All right. Well, I know we're approaching the 30-minute mark here. That's it for walking you through Zeit video recordings, screenshots, and GIFs. So basic tips and tricks. I hope that everybody learned something for today and have some really great takeaways. We do have some time for some open Q&A if there are any additional questions.
Yeah, we do have a few more questions. And the first one is, when you're making a screen recording, are you able to move around the bubble that has your picture in it or your video in it? So if you could give it, kind of show that to everybody, that'd be great.
Yep, let's do it. So I'm going to go into record. And I'm going to use my screen and cam. Hi, I can see that I've got my cam selected. We've got the countdown. So love this question. So not only can I drag and move this around, this is especially helpful if I'm talking through an update. Let's say, as you can see on my screen, I'm covering some of these words here. So I might just want to move myself around, or if I really feel like my video is too big or too small, I can make it bigger, or I can make it smaller, or I can make it really big and cover up the entire screen. And we're going to bring that back down. So hopefully that brings some clarity to that question. I'm going to go ahead and hit stop recording.
Awesome.
Love it. Really good question.
Thank you. And so we've got a question here that is, what is the difference between the desktop application and the web application?
Yeah, for sure. So as you noticed, I was kind of navigating between both our Mac client desktop and the web application. So the desktop, which is this little button up here, is just an app that you download to your computer. So either download it to your Mac or your PC, whereas the web application, we'll go back into that here, opens up Zeit on the web directly. And here you have access to a few more options with your files, your recents, favorite, your trash, or deleted items. And by the way, deleted items do go away after 30 days. So if you do delete any content and 90 days later, you're looking for that piece of content, it does get deleted. So just make sure that you're paying attention to the content that you're keeping and removing.
Great. Awesome. And sorry, just reading through a few comments and notes on how some folks are using when they use that I'd love to share with everybody, kind of when they use GIFs versus GIFs or GIFs, depending upon which team you're on. It's a very polarizing topic, right? When they use those is if there's a quick explanation that doesn't need any audio to it, or you just need to remind somebody of something, or just a simple step, that's when it sounds like a GIF or a GIF is kind of the preferred there. But great for enhancing documentation and showing flow steps in simple breakdown step by step as well. So awesome. I think that's all the questions we have for today. So we could go ahead and wrap it up.
All right. Thank you, Jana. Thanks everyone for attending. It's been really great having everyone here today. Like I said, I hope you all have some amazing takeaways, whether you're a seasoned Zeit user or someone brand new to Zeit. We hope that you can make the most out of our awesome productivity tool. We will be sharing a recap video of the webinar, as well as some resources that were talked about. And then in addition to that, I've got a bonus piece of content that we'll share out with you, a link to a checklist for some pro tips on best preparing for screen recording. So I did talk through some of those, just things like double checking your audio, your video, your lighting, making sure there's no airplanes flying overhead or dogs barking. So lots of good stuff coming your way. Please reach out if you do have any questions. Otherwise, I hope you all have an amazing day. Thank you for joining.